In this video, I am featuring all my internet finds from the last 3 months. Find number 1 is definitely the best one. There is a Warhammer side game, a board game named Dreadfleet. And I don't know much about it other than it comes with one of the nicest cloth sea maps that I've ever seen. And luckily, a lot of people buy this board game and they don't really want to play the board game, they just want to paint up the boats or something. So that means every once in a while you can find this cloth map being sold separate from the game. I was very lucky, I was able to get this for $40. That's a lot of money, but I think this is one of the best backdrops for a naval battle or some sort of aquatic adventure. It's very nice looking, and it's just one of those board game finds that just sort of crops up on the internet every once in a while, but a lot of people might not know about it. Next up, I got my miniatures from the Crippled God Foundry Kickstarter. This is a selection of undead miniatures, as well as some adventure miniatures. Nice selection of stuff from it. They're doing another Kickstarter right now. Obviously, Crippled God Foundry stuff is very expensive, but it's very good stuff. The resin miniatures that they do are a very high detail, very high quality. For this Kickstarter, I just picked out some larger miniatures as well as some of the adventure miniatures, which I love very much so. A lot of the more standard stuff in this set is I already have miniatures for. But, I mean, it did come with a big, giant, undead dragon. That is that little package that I'm picking up right there. And also some undead beholders, which are much more high quality than anything else on the market. I'm very much looking forward to painting those up for a future game. Here we're going to take a closer look at some of the dragon bits as I showcase how the head kind of gets put together. It's in 3 different parts that kind of snap into place on the body there. Very cool stuff. And here's the base for those undead beholders. Very interesting. And here's a random resin D20 that they included. Not quite sure how weighted that is. And here's one of the adventurers. And here's a cleric that I actually had already painted during Mace. If you remember my video from Mace, this is the cleric that I painted during that painting class. So I was already excited to have another one of these guys that I could paint in a completely different color scheme and perhaps use in a different fashion. And here is the main draw to that Kickstarter, the Undead Beholder, which could be used as a Beholder Lich, a very detailed model. It's in 2 parts. It came with a floating flying base. Oh, excellent. And we have the Elf expansion for the Rune Wars miniature game. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know that the Rune Wars games has been coming up super cheap in places like Amazon, eBay, even the Walmart site. There's been some very discounted sales on these products. I believe this was like $17 that I paid for this. It might have been low as 15, but yeah, these are some very nice, it's pretty easy to assemble miniatures that are in scale with most wargame miniatures, and thus will be in pretty good scale with D&D stuff, maybe a little bit chunky. Of course, that doesn't matter with monsters like this amazing tree monster guy. Many uses for them. The elves are the classic wargaming style elves, and I love the cat riding people. Overall, very good. An excellent value for the money, frankly. Less than $1 per miniature. Beautiful stuff. And we have the SCS miniatures, specifically from the Monster Protector line. I painted these up speed paint style as quickly as I could. I was a little bit disappointed. These kobolds, even though they do have a little bit of personality to them, not as good as the skeletons. The skeletons that I reviewed, I think, are the very best set from the Monster Protector line. These are okay. They could have done with just a little bit more detail or just shrunk down the kobolds to proper kobold size. Okay, I'm switching the mic because I want to do a live reaction to this next unboxing. I found one of these D&D booster packs. This one for the Demon Web. Now, I find these every once in a while where people are selling these not as new, but as used. So I've definitely had some weird stuff happen. It's just luck. You can find these on Amazon and eBay every once in a while. It's just old stock, and for whatever reason, they'll just sell it as used instead of new. I've had stuff on eBay where, like, people have, like, taken out the D&D miniatures and put in Star Wars miniatures. So you never know what you're going to get with these. I don't know. This one looks pretty good. It looks just like old stock. It's very, very beat up. There's no signs. There's no... I mean, it's an Amazon warehouse thing. So let's open this up and see what we got. It seems like it's sealed. It seems like there has not been it seems like it's not been opened. Obviously, these are easy to reseal if somebody's doing shenanigans. So we'll have to see. Maybe we'll get something really good. But yeah, it looks like this is actually very... Ooh, so already... I think this is legit. It comes with everything. It has a little checklist thing here. It has the little cards. So yes, first off we have the Crazed Kuoto, which is a very nice classic Hasbro miniature. It's got the protector on the thin parts. We have a... This is Infernal armor. But I always just kind of use these miniatures for animated statues or something like that. We got a lovely little goblin guy here. I love the purple little goblins. That's pretty interesting. We got a tiny little wormling. We got a spire top drake, actually. So we got a little tiny drake kicking up in a pose. Small miniature. Yeah, we got a Kuthric, or I have no idea if that's pronounced correctly. But these are the little metallic bug guys. So I believe this is not a hatchling. I believe this is a kind of just a regular medium-sized Kuthric. We got a... Ooh, we have a demonic gnome, I believe. Or a fiendish gnome. A gnome and demon adept. So, yeah. So this is definitely a nice big chunky sculpt, but sometimes the bigger sculpts in Hasbro stuff have some issues with the paint job. So that's pretty good. I like it. And we have a Drow miniature, which I don't have in my collection. This is a spider-bound Drow warrior. And that's cool. It's just kind of a Drow warrior with the classic spider motif in the armor and the shield. And interesting kind of stoic-looking pose there. So yeah, it's a nice Drow. I like that. And then finally, for the large miniature, we have something that I don't have this one either. This is just a blood slade. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously, you can always use these weird, very specific D&D miniatures. So, yeah. So, yeah, 100%, this is a legit unopened pack, and there definitely was not any shenanigans that I can see. And next we see the results of my investigation into the mysterious Citadel Black line, which used to be available on Amazon, no longer so. And these appear to be 3D models printed out somehow and being sold for an incredibly cheap price. I'm not sure how this was done or why this was done. The amount of branding that went into these makes me think this is somebody from North America that's trying to sell these. But the Amazon store leads me to believe this is maybe like just some sort of Chinese operation, because they're selling a lot of stuff that isn't easily manufactured in the United States. It's all very strange. I wasn't able to get much more information about this seller. But what is very clear is that these models are based on Hero Forge models. This is a very important thing to note because Hero Forge specifically says in their terms of service that you cannot resell or profit off their 3D files. So why did the company behind Citadel Black decide to use their files? They should have quickly realized that they were never going to get away with this. And you know what? The quality, it's not that bad, honestly. There's some mold lines, but these were pretty well printed. The weird thing is that they chose to print them in a slightly smaller scale to D&D. So some of the orc miniatures fit in better with the D&D miniatures, but the other ones seem a little bit shrimpy. So it's odd that these are specifically branded for D&D, but they didn't get the scale right. Now, is it because they're just not familiar with it, or are they trying to save on resin? I mean, probably more likely some sort of PLA spool, because these are obviously 3D printed and all. I don't know, but they made hundreds, if not thousands of these. I mean, it's so bizarre. Why go through all that effort and not get the scale right? And charge such a low price? I mean, if... Or just why not use some other 3D models that don't have the terms of service? It's all so confusing. There was so many of these made, but there didn't seem to be a very good game plan about any of this. It's just one of these internet mysteries that I'll never figure out if this was just some Chinese company or some US company. It's all very strange. Well, in any case, I hope that you were somewhat entertained by this list of stuff that I found off the internet for the last couple months. I'm working on some big videos coming up, including a interesting crafting video that I hope you'll all find entertaining. Please let me know if you have found any cool stuff yourself in the comments below. And, if you're feeling good, hit that like button. Perhaps leave a nice comment. And if you enjoy this sort of content, please consider subscribing, because, a half of you don't, and, it'd be cool if you did. Thanks for watching the video, and have a good one.